Hey, welcome to another episode of Real Talk Matters. Unfortunately, my partner Dre is unable to be here. Had an emergency that just came up. So the show must go on and will continue to go on. So we're going to keep everything real with Real Talk Matters today. Starting off today, one thing I do want to hit on is what's going on as far as deal with Kyrie Irving, Andrew Wiggins, Bradley Beal. Basically, there are basketball players in the NBA that are saying they do not want to get vaccinated because it's against their rights, against their body, things of that nature. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, because I'm not going to get too big into vaccinations and everything, because we have touched on it before, and I'm sure we'll touch on it again. But the reason I'm bringing it up right now is to kind of just put some false narratives off to the side. Now, a quick fact is vaccinated people are 8 times less likely to be infected. One thing you hear oftentimes what people will say is, well, why should I get vaccinated if I could get it again? Yes, you can get it again, but you are 8 times less likely to get it again. And you are 25 times less likely to get hospitalized or to die from it. So the reason it's important for us all to get vaccinated is because you are less likely to, A, contract the disease again, and B, if you do contract the disease again, are less likely to pass it on to someone else. So by bringing these chances down, that will help our society as a whole be able to get past the inflection point where we're at right now. So those are the reasons why it is important to get vaccinated. With that being said, a statement that Andrew Wiggins made, he stated that, well, I feel like the NBA is forcing me to do this and I have to do this. First of all, no one is putting a gun in front of his head. He made over $106 million in his career right now. So if you want to take his money, take his proverbial ball and run home, he can do that, and that's not going to stop him as far as living his life. He is choosing to get a vaccine because he don't want to forego the millions that he have on the table right now. That is the reason why he's going to take the vaccine. Kyrie Irving, totally different individual. He may take it, he may not take it. It is his right, but I do want to stress the point that for all these people out here saying, well, why get the vaccine if I can still get COVID? And as I stated previously, you're 8 times less likely to be able to, 8 times less likely to be infected, and 25 times less likely to, if you are infected, again, to go to the hospital or die from it. So from those facts alone, that should make a person think that it's something they should definitely want to partake into. And the reason sometimes that whole situation kind of I shouldn't say infuriate me, but get me upset is because it seems like ignorance is bliss for so many people right now. And what I'm saying in regards to that situation is, it is good to know what is going on in this world, what it is that affects us as far as, if you want to look at different things as far as the world government, the coronavirus we were just talking about, economy, lagging educational development of our children here as opposed to other nations. These are important things that affect us here in our community and in our country. And if we act ignorant to these type of situations, we're going to keep falling further and further behind as far as other nations in the world, and just falling behind, period. And that's something that we should not be doing. We are a progressive nation. We should be trying to move forward in regards to things should get better from generation to generation. It should not progressively get worse. With all that being said, the reason I bring up the whole thing about the ignorance point of view is I'm going to bring up something about the $1.2 billion and the $3.5 billion infrastructure bills that's coming about that Biden is proposing and a lot of people is up in arms about. They have some reasons to be, I totally understand that, but I want to speak upon that for a moment. Now, first thing I want to speak upon is one of the leading legislations that Trump passed when he was president, which was a Trump tax rate cut. Now that tax rate cut taxes from 35% to 21%. So what it did was it gave the average American an extra $4,000 in their pockets, which is about $77 a week. Now, I don't think that's a big game changer personally. I don't think that's going to be a world changer. Oh, I have an extra $77 in my paycheck every week. Now I can really just paint the town red and do whatever it is I want to do. But some people may think it is. But I'm going to show you some comparisons between what that did and what this next plan is proposing to do. Now, that Trump tax rate 35 to 21% is not really a big thing, but I'm gonna tell you what it is a big thing for. If you're making millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars. Now, I'm gonna bring something up on the screen here. It's coming up right now. And it's the 3 richest Americans hold more wealth than the bottom 50% of the country. This is what the study finds. Now, I'm gonna go down to this little checkbox here, and Forbes is saying the top 3 combined wealth is about 250 billion, about the same as half the combined wealth of the bottom half of the country. Top 25 is about 1 trillion, 56% of the population combined. The top 400 is 2.68 trillion, more wealth than 33 million median wealth families, and the Forbes top 400 is more than 64% of the households here in America, more than the GDP of Britain. You can take that down now. So 3 people, and this study is like 3 years ago, so I'm sure it changed since then, but I'm sure not by much. So the income disparity we have is the top 3 people, which at that time it was Jeff Bezos, who was it? Jeff Bezos, Buffett, and Bill Gates. 3 people, half the country. Now, if you don't see something wrong with that, then I'm not quite sure what you're looking at. On top of that, like I was saying about that tax cut. Now that tax cut, $4,000 for an average American, what do you think that tax cut gonna do for someone making that type of money? Now, on top of all that, what it showed is after 2017, when that tax cut was passed, over 40% of revenue, corporate tax revenue, dropped. So basically, all of this additional money that we receive from taxes for rich folks making this type of money did not come back on the books for the U.S. economy. So there's a lot of other programs that was not able to be met because of the lack of income. Now you would think, well, trickle-down economics work, and these people keep their money, they're generating more jobs. No, actually that's not what happened, because out of that additional money that they accumulated, 80% of the money they received went back to investors and buybacks, dividends, and other asset planning adjustments. So basically, they made additional money, and the additional money that they made did not go back to the millions of Americans as far as building up the different job structures or higher salaries. That is not what they did. What that money did was going to these people's bank accounts, and they just accumulated their wealth while we're all still staying in the same place. That's why trickle-down economics does not work. It didn't work with Reagan, and that tax cut did not do anything but help the richest people in America as far as saving money. An average American, $77 a week, that is not going to be a game changer. Now, I'm going to speak upon the Biden deal here. Let me go to, actually, let's go to the screen here. Now, this is the 1.2 trillion bill. Now, what this is going to do is, I'm going to run through these. I'm trying not to read it verbatim here, but kind of go through these here. Add more funding for roads and bridges. The deal calls for investing $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects. So basically, it includes a lot of different deals here. $16 billion for major projects that would be too large or complex for traditional funding programs. $40 billion bridge repair, replacement, and rehabilitation. Another $11 billion for transportation safety. So basically, this package right here is the largest package ever created since Amtrak in regards to infrastructure. They're also going to have more money for transit and rail. The package will provide $39 billion to modernize public transit. Let's see what else it has here. Also invest $66 billion passenger and freight rail as well. So the point I was making a moment ago would be the largest federal investment in public transit in history and in passenger rail since the creation of Amtrak 50 years ago. Also included in this is a broadband upgrade. Bill will provide a $65 billion investment in improving the nation's broadband infrastructure. Upgraded airports, ports, and waterways, and we are having problems with the ports over on the West Coast right now. The deal will invest $17 billion in port infrastructure and $25 billion in airports to address repair and maintenance backlogs. Electric vehicles, which is very important, it provides $7.5 billion for zero and low emission buses and ferries. And another $7.5 billion will go to build a nationwide network of plug-in electric vehicle chargers. They're trying to improve power and water systems, environmental remediation, basically as far as cleaning up different sites and things of that nature. You can bring that down. So that right there in that plan is including a lot as far as infrastructure that we really need. And of course, with all those different projects coming about, it's going to build as far as a lot of jobs, as far as people getting out there working on these roads and things of that nature, which obviously is going to bring more income as far as in our country. Now, the one plan that a lot of people are really opposing is the 3.5 trillion plan, which are stating that it costs too much and we can't afford it, things of that nature. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring it up here in a moment, go over some of the things it entails, talk about some ways he's talking about paying for, which I'm going to be honest, I really don't necessarily agree with all the way, but I'll still put that out there. But then I want to kind of go side by side with the differences between this administration and the previous one. Right now, can we go to the screen here? Now, the 3.5 trillion reconciliation bill is going to have a few different things in here. What's in the bill called the Build Better Act. 2 free years of community college. So it provides 2 years of free community college for all students regardless of family income. Anticipated cost about $108 billion, and add $80 billion to the Pell Grants as well. Child care and universal pre-K. Every family that applies shall be offered child care assistance for children ages 0 to 5. And all the plan allocates roughly $450 billion to lower the cost of child care and provide 2 years of universal pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds. They said that the proposal will keep the cost of child care at or below 7% of most families' income. Now, a lot of people that do have children do understand that daycare is a big chunk as far as their what they pay. Medicare Expansion. What this is trying to do is it will include a coverage of dental, hearing, and vision services. So just imagine any of your family members that could benefit from that. Extended child tax credit, which is the $250 or $300 per child people is receiving monthly. They want to extend it to the year 2025. Cut prescription drug prices. Paid family and medical leave. For the first time in history, the U.S. will have comprehensive paid leave covering 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave. It would replace up to 2/3 of your earnings, up to $4,000 per month, while the lowest paid workers will receive 80% of their income. Climate change, money in there in regards to climate change as well, and a couple other little smaller provisions as far as $5 million a year for the Small Business Administration for formerly incarcerated individuals, an entrepreneur program for them, and different things like that. We can bring that down now. So I just want to lay that out first, but I'm going to kind of go through this here slowly now. 2 free years of community college. So with 2 free years of community college, you can get your associate's degree. As everyone knows, having a college degree, people that are college educated tend to make more than people that are not. And now this is giving a pathway to at least get an associate's degree. And you never know, if a person put themselves in a position to get an associate's degree, they may want to continue their education on to a bachelor or master's, who knows? But I still give you the opportunity to educate, to enlighten yourself, to get more tools and the toolbox of life that you have there to do more things. So how is that not a beneficial thing? And I'm pretty sure 2 years of community college is worth more than $77 a week on your paycheck. The child care and universal pre-K, I know this because I've paid this before when my children was younger. Child care is very expensive. It could be $200, $300, $400 a week per child. Now, by them offering this type of child care and universal pre-K, this is not more than $77 a week. Medicare Expansion. We all have family members that are older, including dental, hearing, and vision services. Think about what that can do as far as helping people's lives out that, been here for as long as they have as far as these type of coverages. Think about how much they're paying for these coverages as well. That is not beneficial. Extended child tax credit, $250, $300 per child. Now, that has been said to help cut poverty in this country, children poverty, by over 40%. So by extending this to 2025, we are giving our children the opportunity to have meals, to go in a situation where they're not worrying about, like I said, basic things as far as meals and shelter. It will help them out in regards to that and their families so they can be better and more productive citizens in this country. Cut prescription drug prices, pay family and medical leave. Think about that. If something happens to you, you and your family is still provided for in the course of something like that happening. Now, with all that being said, I just told you about one of the biggest legislations that Trump has, which is that tax cut, which would give Americans an additional $4,000 a year. Compared to this plan right here, there's really no comparison. And that is what I'm saying about as far as being ignorant to a situation or not knowing that. Ignorant is not a bad word, by the way. It's just if you don't know, you don't know. But these programs right here will help level off the wealth disparities that we have in this country by giving people the opportunity at the bottom, at least a chance to try to work their way up. And that's all people is asking for is an opportunity. I mean, there's people that go to work every day, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and are barely able to get by. So these are just offering ways to alleviate the strain on their lives that some of these people could get from a position where they're at to a higher and a better position for themselves and their families and create generational wealth for their families. And this is why stuff like this is needed. Now, the way they're talking about paying it, I have some reservations in regards to that. What they were trying to say was 1.8% of the people at the top will pay the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. I mean, I know they make a lot of money at the top, but some economists are going to have to really break that down because I don't see how that's going to be the case. It really doesn't add up to me. And I'm not going to even go into all those numbers, but the things I looked into just didn't really add up. Also, one scary provision in that bill is anybody that has any type of transactions over $600 in their bank accounts could be looked at by the IRS because they hire a lot of IRS agents to really look at people to do like their tax sheets, people that's not paying the amount of taxes they should in regards to situations. The problem with that is a $600 transaction, I got the IRS checking me out, that is a big red flag right there. That is something that really needs to be worked out because I don't agree with that at all. What is $600 even in the first place to be red flagging anyway? So I think that's a little too much. So what Biden is going to have to do is really find a way to pay for this plan, maybe bring some of the costs down or some of the provisions out of it. But if you could keep most of those provisions in there, that would really help bridge the gap for a lot of Americans in this country. People that tell you, oh, it's socialism, that's a bunch of crap because these people are talking about socialism. If they have a problem with someone, they call the police department. If their home is on fire, they call the fire department. They're not paying no money for security to come over there and deal with that problem. They're not paying any money for someone to come in and put out any fires. And their kids go to public schools, same thing. They're not paying direct money to these schools for their kids to go to school. So there's nothing wrong for us to have a society where we all can prosper, where we can all live, and we can all achieve the dreams that we want to achieve, as opposed to this glass ceiling that is set up right now in this world that's stopping people from getting to where they need to in life. So, and another thing I want to speak upon as far as that is, and I want basically everything I just said about those bills, just think about that and think about which way you would like to go as far as that, and get some more information about it, lift some information up, and from there you could make an educated decision yourself. But do not let Facebook or Instagram and these other social media platforms be your governing voice as far as leading you to believe whatever it is that they want you to believe. Because what's happening is, because since we're losing our sense of community, because we used to have like 3 rings of people that we all communicated with. The first ring, the closest ring of people is like your family, like your spouse, your children, your parents, siblings, maybe a couple of close friends. Your second row is maybe distant relatives, second, third cousin, or a good friend from college, things of that nature. And your third ring is people that you may come into everyday contact with, like maybe some co-workers that you may say hi to, things of that nature. What's happening is everyone is just dealing with the third ring, which is the people they happen to see every day, but not deal with them as much, and that first ring, which is their closest people. That second ring is kind of being cut out, like church members, things of that nature, because we're so caught up in social media. So we're all in this thing as far as, not everyone, but a lot of people is in the thing of, if someone is not aligned in their thought process, then they're totally against them. And that is what the whole Facebook whistleblower thing is about right now, is because of how the divisions have just done nothing but grew in this country. I mean, it's always been political, some people Democrats, some people Republican, but it was always a level of respect. Now, if someone disagreed with someone else's views, then they're a communist, they're a fascist, they're a terrible person, they're a racist, all of this. And it never was to those extremes before. But the problem is and the whistleblower was bringing that out, and more information will come out in regards to that as well, as far as how we are all in these little tight-knit communities. And the main thing that you see on social media that get the most likes and retweets, whatever it is that you want to call it, is the negative things. Those are things that happen to go viral more than anything else. So acts of kindness or nice things, things of that nature, that's not being pushed out there. But if somebody's getting up there and saying Obama's not from America or anything, derogatory towards someone, those are the things that pick up steam. And instead of Facebook trying to monitor these type of things and stop these untruths from going viral, Obama is from America. But instead of trying to stop these untruths from moving on, they allow it to go and they monetize and making money off of these things. So they're making money off of misinformation, and this misinformation is dividing this country into all small separate groups. So that's why they're in a lot of trouble they're in right now. What we got to find a way to do is to get back to the truth. The truth of the matter as far as what is actually going on in this world. We can't work together to pass different bills. I mean, the reconciliation bill that I was talking about earlier is a great bill. There is some fat on it that needs to be trimmed. We should really try to figure out a way to work together and see if there's a way that we could try to bring this income disparity, because 3 people making as much money as half the people in this country does not make any sense. With all that being said, I hope you are having a great day, and you tune back with us next week. My partner in crime will be back next week. Real Talk Matters will be here every week, giving you the real as far as what is going on, and hopefully expanding your mind and your wealth of knowledge. Till next time, peace.